Hey guys, welcome to my second day of training for you. Yes, I have note cards. I wanted to preface this really quickly. I know I'm giving a lot of systems and like specific things, and the reason that I'm doing that is not because like I'm really that type A, because the reality is I'm not. Like, my house is not super organized, and like I feel like it's always like I'm a single mom of 3 kids, right? Like, and my kids are 2, 4, and 6. So in no way is my life like, oh, it's just easy straight. I don't know what I'm going to do today, right? But the reason that I have this kind of stuff is to really make it just easier for my brain. And so being more scheduled actually gives you more freedom, even though it seems really like, I don't know, just for me, I pushed against it for a really long time, scheduling, because I'm like, I just am going to make it work, and I'll just build my business in the middle of the night, which is really what I did. I built my business for the first 2 years when everyone else was sleeping, especially my ex-husband, because he did not like Beachbody. He was not a supporter of Beachbody, so I could only really work when he wasn't watching. So with that being said, recognize that you can build a business without a schedule, but at the same time, you're going to feel like hairy scary all over the place, and your business will not grow to the potential that it can grow to. So I just wanted to put that out there. Like, I'm a hippie home birther, but I'm also an engineer. So I see both sides of this, but really what I want to help you guys with, especially because you're wanting to be diamond, which basically means that you say, hey, I want to be a leader. You're stepping up and leaning into that, number one. Number two, these are the type of questions that I get all the time as a leader, especially from my newer coaches or the coaches who are wanting to grow, like, I don't know what to post, or I don't know how to manage my time, right? So that's why I'm trying to share this with you, because A, these are the questions I get the most. B, these are the things that you can use, apply, and then teach to your team, okay? Because this is something, once you get this information, make it your own and share it. Present on it. Make it awesome. So, obviously, because we create our own work hours and work situation, today I'm at the park with 2 of my little boys, my oldest and my youngest. Oldest has strep, so you got to roll with it. And then the youngest took a nap earlier while we were waiting for all the ready care stuff. So this is my typical nap time, which is why, not my typical nap time, his typical nap time, which is why I picked this time. But as some of my moms in here might know, days don't always go according to plan. So let's get started, right? Here's the content. Enough about your life. Let's talk about the content. So today's topic is time management with passion. I went to Date with Destiny, which is Tony Robbins, that whole week-long thing that he does. And it's also, if you haven't watched I Am Not Your Guru on Netflix, I highly suggest it, because that's basically what I did. I know Amy's done it. I know Pat's done it. I'm not sure if anyone else in the group has done it, but it's a really, really awesome thing. Maybe you can put it on your vision board of something to get to in your business, because it's something that it's a game changer. So this was some of the things that I learned from there, and then I'll kind of tell you the other personal development books that I've used and applied this with. So for me personally, the things that I struggle with the most are the things that I'm really trying to work on. Recognize your strengths, but also recognize your weaknesses. And the weaknesses that you can hand off to have other people help you with, do that first. The weaknesses that you need to work on, dig into those even more. So, that's something that I want to talk to you about. Also recognize that your results are not the attainment of greatness, but the confirmation of it. Michael Phelps, wasn't great when he won all those medals. He was great the day he decided and he committed to the work that it took to achieve it. And so you might not have a diamond next to your name yet, or you might not have, emeralds or star diamonds or whatever it is, but recognize that once you make your decision that it's going to happen, that's the day you become great. That's the day you commit to the work. So really what we're going to talk about today is accountability, commitment, and greatness in the moment, because that greatness in the moment is really the foundation of your personal and your professional success, okay? So my story and why you should listen to me when it comes to time management. Obviously, I'm a single mom of 3 little ones, 2, 4, and 6. I became a single mom when my babies were, 10 months, 2 and 4, I think, or something like that. I started my business when I was 7 weeks pregnant, and I had a 1 and a almost 3-year-old. Okay, so recognize that, and I lived in population 75 Wyoming. So in no way did I have like a support system. I had no family, no one to help watch the kids, things like that. So time management has become really important. Also because, you know, the team has grown. I'm a 7-star, 2-star diamond, 2-time elite. It's grown so quickly, I feel like. You really have to manage your time and your business, and then also to be able to take care of your tribe, you know. I'm a personal development junkie, and what I want you to think about is it's not just about the art of achievement, it's about the art of fulfillment. That's something I really am going to focus on with you today, because whether you're a 15-star diamond or in the Millionaires Club, hey, Bubba's, hey, Lumen, please go this way. The road is that way. We go this way towards the park, please. Yeah, you can go on the rocks. How about right in front of Mom? Come this way. There's rocks right here. I'm sorry. I'm momming and working. Good, he turned around. Okay. You can still feel like frazzled, out of balance, and not feel happy. Hitting all these goals without the art of fulfillment doesn't mean that your life is going to be great. So just recognize that. That's what we're actually talking about today, is time management with the art of fulfillment. So get your notebooks out per the usual. It's time to take some notes, and we're going to do time management in reverse. So the way I like to talk about it and explain it, it's like saying, hey, I'm going to go to California, but you don't have a map and you don't have a compass. So that's what we're doing today, saying, okay, let's start with where we know we want to go, and then we're moving backwards. So you have to start with your vision, okay? The 5 basic steps of what we're doing, which is really Tony Robbins type of outline, it's called RPMing. So it's called Rapid Planning Management. And that's what we're going to go through. So step 1, I wrote these in the description. Step 1 is vision and outcomes. Step 2 is to set specific, smart goals with action in place. Don't put rocks in your mouth. Okay. Number 3 is committing to blocking the time and those specific actions. Step 4 is to schedule it. Hey, hi, go grab him and bring him back, please. Lumen, come this way. Step 5 is to complete, measure, and celebrate. Because if you're not celebrating it, you're just going to feel like, oh, it's just another day, right? But you have to celebrate your wins. And Michael Folsom said something in a training I was in not too long ago, but it was that consistency breeds confidence. So if you're showing up every day, if you're being consistent with your time, then, you know, Ray says adulting is so hard. Adulting, momming, yeah, it's great, but it's also like there's no instruction manual for this stuff, right? Which I encourage you to roll with in your business and share about it, right? So consistency breeds confidence. So even if you're not doing things that you feel are great yet, just showing up and being consistent with it is what changes everything. Okay, so number 1, vision. You can't talk about vision without being in a peak state. So peak state basically means you're not like sitting here like, okay, I have to figure out my vision. It really has to be this like, holy shit, what is my life going to look like? If I could wake up and have the absolute perfect day, and I'm standing in it right now, what would it feel like? What would it look like? You have to get excited. So put on some good music. We're not going to do this today. So this isn't, again, an activity. This is your homework per se. This is your action plan. But you're going to put on some good music. You're going to stand up. You're going to shake your booty, which always seems so silly to say, but why be moody when you can shake your booty? Because it's basically impossible to be in a bad mood or not be in a peak state if you're standing up with great music and you're shaking your butt. So just think through that. So put some music on, set a timer for 5 minutes, and at least 5 minutes. If it's longer, that's great. But I want you to brainstorm a list, everything, anything, of anything you want to achieve, create, give, have, do, and or experience in the next 20 years. So you're going to break it down to 3-month goals, what you would want to experience, feel, give, have, do in the next 3 months, year, 5-year, 10-year, 20-year. Okay? So just start writing. Just be in a place of just writing, okay? And what I want you to also think about is, how do you want to feel? Okay? You can't just focus on the things, you have to focus on the feelings. Woo! Getting warmer in Michigan, but it's still a little chilly. Okay, so here we go. Come back. Okay, so the 4 areas within each of those time zones I need you to focus on are, number 1 is things and stuff. Because honestly, things and stuff, you know, like if you're driving a beater car, are you going to feel really great about yourself? Maybe you're going to feel great because you're saving money, but at the end of the day, you know, you're still driving a beater car, and it's going to say something about how you feel about yourself, right? I'm not saying you need to have the most expensive car, but just think about things and stuff. Things and stuff will not bring you happiness, but it will make life a little easier sometimes. Number 2 is experiences. This is what I focus on. This is part of my why. Because the experiences richen your life. The experiences wake you up. They help you spend more time with your friends and your family and the people you love. And that's what you remember on your deathbed, right? Not the things and stuff, but the things you did and the experiences you had. Number 3 is your legacy. What do you want to leave to your family? What do you want people to remember you for? Even though it might feel silly today to write about it, especially if some of you are, 20, why not? Right? Why not think of like, man, what would my legacy be if I could write my legacy today? And then your last one, number 4, is contribution. Because I feel like it's so much more important to think past what you can bring to yourself and to think about what you can give to others, right? Because that's really what we do every day. So what kind of contribution do you want to add to that goal of what could you contribute 20 years? Do you want to be like Mark Zuckerberg and donate 99% of your income? I mean, that'd be pretty cool to be able to do, right? Okay, so the last thing I want to leave you with when it comes to vision while you're doing this work is that poor people think the red Ferrari and $1 million bring happiness. But wealthy people know those things are just a reminder of the person they had to become along the way. Tony Robbins says that in his thing, okay? So now, what you're going to do is you're going to review your list and choose your top 4 one-year goals. Okay? Write down why you absolutely will achieve these, no matter what. And why... One second. Okay, we're good. We're good. And why you absolutely will achieve these goals in the next 12 months. So you have to have this belief. You have to dig in and make sure you have to have something with your business when it comes to these goals too. It can't just be like, life stuff. This has to be also business focused. So you have to believe in your business, and you have to believe that you can make every single one of these things happen. Even if you're not sure of the path, you still have to believe it. Now the next step of what you're going to do is write down the person you have to become in order to achieve these goals. And for me, the words I wrote down were consistent, bolder, more radiant, more authentic, passionate, playful, creative, more organized, more present with my family, just in my business, more efficient. I have to learn to ask for help, more determined, and more strategic. Sometimes I just throw a lot of things up at the wall and hope they stick. And as you can see, like from, oh, just a second. No, this is not acceptable. Hold on. Okay, sorry. You're a little too close to the road. We have a mad 2-year-old now, but I'm sorry. You're okay. Just keep playing. You just don't need to play that close to the road. Okay, moving forward. There's rocks right there. Just dig them up, man. So glad you guys all get to experience the fun of 2-year-olds. They're really great, actually. Okay, so now let's go back. Step 2, back to the beginning. Is we need to create our master plan. So this is more when the time management, when the specific stuff comes in with Beachbody. The other stuff I'll show you how I fit it in, but this is more specific to Beachbody. So when you're creating that master plan, I want you to think of what rank you want to be. Like at the end of this, obviously we all want to be diamond or at a star diamond level. Get lots of moms in there. Thank you. Oh, I have someone saying go mom. Thanks Chris, appreciate it. Oh, you can come over here and pout so that everyone can see you, how cute you are. So your rank, your weekly income, do you want to be a success starter? How many success starters do you want on your team? So things like that, okay? Now we're going to back up even more. What do you have to accomplish monthly and then weekly and even daily to get that down? And you have to write this stuff down, guys. It cannot be in your head, okay? So the books, what I personally do is I use Teamsy. And I also use my calendar for my phone. Hey, hi, will you grab him, please, and bring him back here? So glad I have my 6-year-old here today. 6-year-olds are really helpful all of a sudden. So I use Teamsy, and I know some people use it, some people don't. But for me, I got to the point where I was losing people. Some people like spreadsheets. Some people, just really like doing the power of 3s. We have some really great worksheets for the power of 3 stuff. But Teamsy is kind of my jam, guys, because I don't lose stuff. I don't have to create my list, and I also have my income goal in there, and then it tells me Here's how many people you need to contact. It keeps track of all my follow-ups. Here's all the coaches you need to contact. Here's your customers you need to contact. So Teamzy has made my life a lot easier. But basically, either way, you need to write down what you need to be doing. Number 3 is you need to commit to blocking that time in your actions. This is the simple part, but this is not the easy part. I'm going to show you how I do it in a second, but so let's talk. If you're not a 2-star diamond yet, the 4 actions that you need to be focusing on every day, especially in this group, are your vitals. So how are you being a product of the product? How are you putting that into your schedule of when you're being a product of the product? When is your workout? You have to put it in your schedule every single day. Number 2 is, when are you connecting? Connecting includes your posting, which we just talked about yesterday, and it also includes your new conversations. So you should have a goal of at least 3+ new conversations a day. Okay, sorry. Number 4 is your invites, and number 3 is your invites. Number 4 is your personal development. I actually have my personal development in my calendar, because so many times if I don't know that I'm making specific time for it, it gets pushed, and then at the end of the day I'm like, shoot, I didn't get it done. Okay, so based on your numbers in step 2, so these would be like your Teamzy numbers if you use Teamzy, or how many people you need to reach out to. How much time do you need? And you're going to write that down when you put it in. How much time do you need to get through your vitals every day? Okay, so remember what I talked about yesterday about mastering the one thing type of mentality? You can't get distracted when you're doing this. When you're planning your business, you can't go, oh, there's a new ad training, or there's new websites, or there's a new freemium I need to get done through. Master what you need to get mastered first, which is your 4 vitals. Get your head down and hustle, because once you get those things done, then yeah, you've got time to do all the other stuff. But first things first is definitely just to get those 4 vitals done, and then you can see how you can create time. If you're a 2-star diamond or above and you're in this group, you also need to make sure you're making time for, in your schedule, leadership development, your team connects, and your trainings. Because as a 2-star diamond, you are officially a leader in my book. You've grown your business to be an actual business, helping to create 2 new diamonds on your team. So if you're not taking training and you're not sharing training to help them grow, you're definitely, in my opinion, like, not helping your leaders at all. Okay, so number 4, this is the moneymaker for me. Okay, we're good. Sorry if I seem distracted. They were playing so nicely, right? Until I started this call. So number 4 is to schedule it. So the day before, you have to pick out what time this is for you, but you write down basically, like, when I know my family time is going to be a certain time, I actually write down before that what I need to get done with my work activities once my kids go to bed, and then also for the next day tomorrow. So you need to make sure to have that, basically we call it like a brain dump time, where you just write down everything you know you need to do, and just basically get to that point where you say, okay, right now is when, for example, I actually have in my calendar when I have present time with my kids. You guys can judge me for it, and that's fine. But I also noticed that when I wasn't putting that in there, that's when I would do the dishes, or that's when I would be on my phone doing stuff. And really, like, I didn't start this business to ignore my kids, right? So, this is the kind of stuff I'm going to run you through my personal schedule in a second, but this is the kind of stuff you need to think through, like, what activities do you need to be present in that need to be in your schedule. So Sundays are my big brain dump days, where I look at my week, I write down, or I don't write down, I actually use my, iPhone's, calendar, write down everything that I need to do, like the schedule things, and then I fit in what I have to do every single day, and it actually gets a slot in my thing. And recognize that if something's a priority to you, it will be in your calendar and you will schedule it. So whether it's your faith, or whether it's, I don't know, like needing to go work on a specific skill for your job, or getting a run-in, or whatever it is. For me, it was making sure to schedule mom time by myself, that's to schedule specific time with my kids, that that was important, to schedule meal times together, obviously, and then I'll take you through my business activities next. Make sure when you're scheduling this, your self-care has to be first, because if you're not taking care of yourself, your business will not grow, and you're going to get run down, and you're going to want to basically quit or take a break from your business, or, which I say that in quotes because every time someone says that to me, I almost lose it, because for me that's like saying, oh, never mind, I just want to start over again. I wasn't really serious. and I just want to quit everything I was doing so I can take a break. And then when they come back, they're like, why isn't anything happening? So just, if you're one of my coaches, please don't ever say that to me. Honestly, it's the most annoying thing. So number one, you have to schedule self-care. Number two has to be your family or in your friends or your relationships. And then number three is when you schedule in your business, okay? So something I want to share with you really quickly is when you're putting this in, we all have a tendency to check our messages all the time, right? Like, oh my gosh, is someone ready to order? I better respond to them right away, or they're gonna go order with someone else or order on beachbody.com or whatever it is. And I want to encourage you to cut that shit out, because the more you're on your phone responding to messages, or if you wake up and check emails right away, you're not in a peak state anymore. Because like someone will say something, or like you get in that like stress mode almost. So what I'm going to encourage you to do is put time specifically in there to wait to check your messages. Get through the things that you know you have to do, and then have block time when you get through that. And another little tip is stop responding to messages on your phone unless you're on vacation. I've been seeing a lot of hashtag CEO on the go from some of the people in this group, which is awesome, right? We want to share this life by design and freedom of time, but that should be more the exception than the rule, because you will be so much more productive if you sit down and you open up your computer and you respond to messages that way versus constantly on your phone. Yes, it can work from time to time, but if you really want massive productivity and time management, the majority of your messages will be sent and seen from your laptop, okay? So other little tips are: set a timer, turn off all the distractions and the noise, be present, implement, and obviously do what you know you need to be doing. The day you start treating your business like it's $1 million business, that's when you're moving those goals forward. And as I show you, my schedule or talk to you about my schedule, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, this chick is crazy. But know that most days don't go exactly according to plan. But the reason I have my schedule set up like this is because I want my business to be a 7-figure business, and I treat it like that. And while it's not there right now, that doesn't mean that it's not going to be. Doing these things means that I know it is going to be there. Okay, so let's talk now what I have in my phone for every day. And the rule of this is that you can move things around. Like, let's say, I don't know, I have at 9 o'clock, then I'm going to curate and create content. And then something happens, like for example, I do go to urgent care today. So the rule is you can move things around, but you can never delete them. And you can't go to bed until you've gotten through the things that you have to do no matter what. Okay? So basically, as I run through this, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, that seems so scheduled and so boring. At least that's how I felt about it. But like I told you, the more you can schedule your time, the more you actually have freedom of time, because then when you create those blocks of time of freedom, then you can, you'll be already done with your stuff, and you won't have that mom guilt, that constant frazzle of like, wait, I'm doing this, but I feel like I should be doing this because I never did that enough. This removes all of that, and you can really be present and enjoy your life a lot more. So let's go through what my schedule looks like. And again, my goal for you today after this would be to do your vision and to get that all down, and then to do in your phone exactly what I have here. Not obviously my schedule, but to do the things that you know are required for your business, and actually schedule, and for your family and for your self-care, actually put them in your phone as required, okay? So for example, this is what I have. And some days are a little different because I volunteer at my son's school. I volunteer at my daughter's school at least once a week. So those are in there, but this is my typical schedule every day with the other stuff added in. 4:30 is when I wake up. I have the alarm across the room because, again, I'm a single mom of 3 kids, so the amount of sleep I get is not always consistent, because my kids like to come into bed with me, which I love anyway. Most of the time. And then I also use the Mel Robbins 5-second rule. If you haven't watched her TED Talk, highly, highly recommend it. She spoke at GoPro this last year. Since I've started implementing it, it's so much easier to get my butt out of bed. So try that. From 4:40 to 5 o'clock, I do my priming. If you don't know what that is, look up Tony Robbins priming, just search for it. It's basically like a guided meditation to really get in a peak state, to get in a grateful state. And then this is also when I do my incantations or my Kailigo, which if you want to know maybe what my incantations or Kailigo are, you can message me privately. I think this is huge, huge, huge for mindset. From 5 to 6 or 6:30 is when I do my workout. Usually my workouts don't take that long, but I have scheduled more time lately just because I'm wanting to really up my level, even before Amy's awesome 100-hour talk. But up my level just because, you know, vacations in summer and being a product of the product, these mom abs are important to me. Number 6 or 6 o'clock is when I do my personal development and my money love journal. If you, I schedule that for an hour. So I have a whole hour of personal development in my money love journal. If you want to know about my money love journal, you can head over to my page. I did a video on it last week. From 7 to 9 is when my kids are up. So phone goes in the cupboard and we spend the morning together and we go to school and things like that. Now I have a nanny who comes and helps me 2 different days now because when you're at this point with small children, for me, I didn't have a nanny up until like 6 months ago. I take that back. I got a nanny a year ago and I blew my knee out because there's no way I thought I could do it as a single mom. With 3 kids and only 1 good leg. So that's when I hired my nanny, was last year. But she helps me 2 days a week now. So I take my oldest to school and then I can like focus in. So at 9 o'clock, I work on creating and curating content. At 10 o'clock, from 10 to 2 is when I work on my Team Z, my messages, my follow-up. So in general, I don't check my messages until 10 a.m. Like I'll scan, right? Like when I start right before my workout, I'll scan to make sure there aren't any crazy fires. But in general, I don't actually get to my messages until 10 a.m. I have some time at 2 o'clock to do a training for my team or to share a training or to implement something that I've learned in my personal development or that I'm really trying to work into my everyday. I do that from 2 to like 3-ish. 3 is when I pick up my kids from school. We come home, and from basically 4 to 8, I have present time with my kiddos. From 4 to 5, phone is gone. From 5 to 8 is like house stuff and dinner and bedtime and bath time. At 8 o'clock, we do a ROMWOD. So for those of you who don't know, it's basically like a range of motion workout. And the kids, we all do it. It's kind of like a yoga session, I guess. But we all do it together at the end of the day. It brings us down. It's that time. It's just part of what we do. And then bedtime, and then I'm back on. So 9 o'clock, I check into my challenge groups. 9:15, recognition. I try to reach out to at least 2 or 3 coaches and just tell them something they're doing. It's not based on Success Club points. It's not based on like things from the back office. It's like, hey, I really loved your post about whatever, right? Like give recognition outside of, you know, the numbers. At 9:30 is when I write down what I have to do tomorrow. And then before I go to bed, 10:30, 11, 11:30 sometimes, I make sure to write down my goals and visualizations and then something I'm grateful for. So that's my day that I have scheduled every day. Do you see how it's kind of working all these other things in? Your day might not look like this, and that's fine. But I really encourage you to write this stuff down that you know you have to get done, to think about. I'm going to challenge you a little bit because I have always considered myself a night owl. Like I was the kid in college, high school, college, well, the first 2 years of my business, I would stay up all night. I felt like I was more productive at night, things like that. But the reality is you have to think through when you're most productive. And I just read a study today that said 80% of us are neither. 10% are just naturally hardwired to get up early. 10% are naturally hardwired to be night owls. So, and those 80%, which is obviously a majority of us in here, we basically can train ourselves to be what we want to be. So if you want to get up early, which is when a majority of people are most productive, you're not getting texts, there's no social life going on, things like that. Oh, we've got more friends here too. You can wake up and get that stuff done. I know 4:30 might seem nasty, but at the end of the day, if you can wake up earlier, you will be so much more productive in your business and you'll love your life a little bit more just because you won't feel pulled all the time. The goal of, if the goal is to wake up earlier, the way I've gone about it is to wake up 10 to 15 minutes earlier every day, that for a whole week. Wake up, like, let's say you want to wake up at 5, but you usually wake up at 6. You would start waking up at 5:50 next week, and then the week before that is 5:40, right? So you can do it that way, and that helps. Another thing that will really help with your productivity is having the same bedtime and the same wake up every day. Again, this seems so awful to me as someone who doesn't like being scheduled, but honestly, since I've started doing it, I feel a lot better, and I'm getting so much more done. And obviously, like when you're on vacation or you're traveling, you don't have to be like hard, fast, and steady about it, but you know what? You can always kind of do your best to stick to it. Okay, and then the books I've read to really go through this, the program, Tony Robbins' Time of Your Life, is really terrific. It comes with like CDs and worksheets and stuff like that, but it's expensive, so you can just listen to this and use this instead. Miracle Morning is a really great book. The Perfect Day Formula is another one I love. The 12-week year, again, this is important. If you're hitting 85% of the things that you're doing every day, if you're tracking it, you will achieve more success. And then the last one is Eat That Frog. So that's what I got for you today. Any questions, guys? Honestly, I've tried so many things with time management, and this has been the one thing that's really seemed to just stick and help with the most amount of people, is to like work it backwards. Like, what do you want to achieve? How do you want to feel? Then how do we make it work in our everyday? Okay, well, my kids are actually playing well. Of course, I can focus now that I'm done. Otherwise, tomorrow it's going to be me and my awesome success partner. I think it's going to be pre-recorded though, so we can both be on. The TED Talk about waking up was Mel Robbins. It's called the 5-second rule. You can just Google it. Thanks, Elizabeth. Thanks, Chelsea. And what else was I going to tell you? So yeah, tomorrow is going to be a day that I want you to kind of do some self-analysis tonight too, because you're going to be kind of writing your want ad for the person that you think can really raise you up the most in this business. And I have a feeling there's a lot of great partnerships in here. Okay, so just think through that, because if we can get people, now we have a swing situation. I gotta go, but if we can get people matched up and running together, you guys can raise each other up. Okay, talk to you tomorrow. I usually get 6 hours of sleep, Liza. That's it. Bye.